Okay, so let's get started. So for the intention mandalas, we start by thinking of an intention, one intention that we want to set for the day, the week, in general, whatever you want. It's any type of intention, big or small, that you want to set. And as you're thinking of that, think about how that intention feels to you. Is it very important? Is it something that's more of a lighter kind of intention? And how does that feel to you? What kind of emotions or what kind of feeling does that bring up? Because then once we establish that, we're going to think about how that translates into a shape, because that's how we're going to be starting our mandala and how we're going to be kind of refocusing on our intention throughout making the mandala is on this shape. So say if, just as an example, you want to, intention is to drink more water. And to me, for some reason, when I think of water, I think of a spiral. Maybe it's because, as the water spirals around down a drain or something, I'm not sure. But so then you can use that shape, the spiral, as the shape that you're going to use for your intention, okay? Okay, so hopefully everybody has thought of a shape or an intention and a shape that goes along with it. And you're going to go ahead and start your mandala with that shape. So we're just putting that in the center, and then we'll kind of grow from that. And you can follow along with the shapes that I make, continue out with the mandala, or you can just go on your own and make whatever feels right for you that goes along with the feeling of your intention. Okay, so let's start off. Since I mentioned spiral, let's just go ahead and do that. So thinking about your intention as you're drawing, just, either say it out loud, repeat it to yourself, just think about it as you're drawing your shape in the middle. And this is where we really just want to create that association with the shape and your intention so that we can kind of just keep coming back to it throughout our mandala. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so if you have your shape drawn in the middle, we will continue. And I'm just going to make some petals going around. That's pretty easy next shape to put around almost any center shape. So let's just go ahead and draw our petals around. And we're still being very aware of our mindfulness. So our lines, our start and stop points. And, for those of you who are new, the start and stop points are just when we actually start the line or the shape and then having a very definite stop point. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So let's put another layer of petals, just starting, from tip to tip on each one around. So we have, hi there, amazing idea, thank you. It works really nice for just keeping focus on an intention and kind of reinforcing that idea. So let's make the next and what I was going to talk about is the start and stop point. So we put our pen down, we have a start point, and then we draw, and then we have a very definite stop point. And that just keeps us very focused on the line and the shape, very mindful of the task that we're doing, and keeps us, kind of looking inward and singly focused on what we're doing. Okay, so let's continue those around, and we're going to go ahead and turn our paper. And that, again, is just, it makes the shapes easier to draw, and it helps, our wrist, so you don't strain these tendons here kind of doing, these kind of weird movements with your hand. All right, so let's continue these shapes around. We'll just draw our petals around with our start and stop, and you don't have to, say those out loud. Just, kind of have it in your thoughts as you're drawing the shapes. Okay, and continue these petals around. And then we'll finish this row, and then we'll come back and we'll, refocus a little bit. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for joining in. refocus a little bit on our shape in the middle and our attention. So just kind of, you can, just bring your attention back to the center, to your shape. Think about your intention, just reinforce that. Sometimes I will actually sort of retrace the shape that I put in the middle as I'm, thinking of the intention that I set. Okay, and then we can just continue on. Let's go ahead and let's make our next shape. Let's do, what I call my chubby triangle. So we'll just go, tip to tip here on the petals and just do these little kind of triangle shapes, but the sides just bow out a little bit. So they look a little bit like chubby triangles to me. That's why I call them that. And we'll just make those going all the way around, remembering to turn our paper, remembering our start and stop points, start and stop. And on these type of shapes, if you want to do a start and pause, start and stop, you can. Again, it's the only reason that I do this start and stop is just so we keep very mindful of the shape and the lines and very focused on the task. You don't have to say those words out loud or anything like that. It's just the idea behind them that we're focusing on. Let's go ahead. I'm going to put another layer of this same thing, just the chubby triangle, but I'm going to just do it just under the tips of the row that we just put. And if you want to give yourself a little guideline, you can just kind of trace an imaginary line out and put a little dot. And that just kind of helps our eye guide our hand to where we want it to go. So you can put those guides each time, or you can just kind of eyeball it. It's all good. We're not making these mandalas to be perfect or make high art. So if things are a little crooked and wonky, that's okay. Remembering your start and stop points. Remembering to turn your paper. There we go. Last one. And okay, so let's once again, just bring our focus back to our shape in the center. You can trace it. You can just, kind of look at the shape as you're repeating your intention in your head. Whatever you would, like to do, or just really what we're doing is reinforcing that intention and reinforcing the relationship and correlation with the shape. And a lot of times after you do these for the rest of the night, the rest of the day, you will actually, every time you see that type of shape, like if it's, a spiral, we won't see a lot of spirals around, but a triangle or something, just seeing that shape elsewhere, not even inside the mandala, your intention will come to your brain because we've just really made that connection and reinforced it doing the mandala. So that's like kind of double duty how this works, and so it makes it really cool. All right, let's do, let's make some lines kind of in between these shapes. So we're going to just, somewhere towards the top, just make just a little bit of a curved line, just right in between petal to petal, or chubby triangle to chubby triangle. And it's not quite a straight line, but it's not really like a semicircle or anything. We're just making a line that's just a little bit curved. And bring that all the way around. And then what's really cool about this is once you have drawn all that, you actually end up with kind of like a circle that's going around, almost, feeling like it's behind the petals. And I, like, if you've seen these before, I always say it makes it really easy to get that circle. If you think about drawing a circle behind your petals or all the way around, it seems almost impossible. You can't draw a circle all the way around there that looks nice. But if you just take it one segment at a time, just one little piece of a not quite straight line at a time, then, suddenly you go around and you have a complete circle around there that ends up not looking too bad. Anyway, okay, let's go on to our next shape. And I think what I want to do here is I'm going to make a kind of little like double petal shape. So what that is, and I'll show you that, is we're going to just kind of come up and make a little dip and come back down. So, like camel's humps or double petals, or some people say that it reminds them of like, molars, which is kind of funny, but I see what they're talking about. Anyway, so let's go ahead and continue those around. And don't worry about any particular placement or, the exact size of them or anything. We're just going to fill the space all the way around with this kind of double petal shape. And again, still being mindful of our lines, thinking about our start, draw, and stop points. And these type of shapes are more difficult to draw. So they might look, lopsided or kind of wonky, and, one side's flatter than the other or bigger than the other, and that's all okay. Let's see who just popped on. Chrissy, thanks for joining. And so again, like I always say, we're not doing these to create high art. We're doing these for more of a, like an alternative meditation, a mindfulness exercise, and in the case of today's, also a setting an intention. So speaking of that, let's go back and let's again, look at our shape in the middle. Go ahead and give it a trace if you want. Trace that around while you're thinking about your intention. Really making that association with your shape and the intention that you've set. All right, let's go back and work some more. And I think what I want to do now is I'm going to take and just do an outline of these shapes that we just drew. So in that, I just mean I'm just going to kind of repeat the shape just on the top here. So it's kind of just outlining that top portion with a little bit of space inside there. So you can go just make sort of a continuous line as long as you're really focusing on your line and you're not letting yourself kind of, your mind drift and losing focus. So again, just the start and draw, and you can pause and draw and pause and draw and stop. And we'll turn. And just, kind of making sure that you're thinking about those start and stop points. Just make sure that we really stay mindful. Because it's so easy to just let our minds kind of get distracted and drift, and then we get in a rush and get sloppy and lose the kind of mindful quality that we're trying to get with these. All right, let's see, what should we make next? Why don't you go ahead and just bring your attention back to the center again, and maybe trace your shape and repeat your intention to yourself again. I just had to grab a drink. My throat's getting dry. All right, so let's let's make some larger shapes going around. I'm going to do my sort of Hershey Kiss shape. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to just like kind of trace out a little bit from the center and, you know, put like a little point where I want my, my center to be. And then I'm just going to make my little Hershey Kiss shapes coming up. And I imagine that you can see why I call it Hershey Kiss shapes. Kind of looks like a Hershey's Kiss. And these shapes are notorious for being difficult to do. So they're going to be lopsided. I mean, mine is quite lopsided. But that kind of gives them a little bit of personality. So don't even worry about that. So just continue around, being aware of your lines. Don't worry about, you know, having them exact size or anything like that. Just wherever they land on the shape. Bringing that all the way around. Making sure you're paying attention to your lines. Let's see. Now this is a good example to show you how a lot of times you will have an uneven space. So obviously I can't fit another one inside of this space that's the same size. So you have a couple of options. You can just make a much smaller one and squeeze it in, or you can make one that seems about the same size but almost like it's layered behind. So if I make my guideline just, you know, right up here, and if I were to start up here, I would just pretend that I go up and just start it behind. So you have about the same size as the other ones. It almost just looks like it's, you know, just layered behind the ones in front of it. So that will work out really well too. And then you have kind of the same spacing and the same shape as you do in all the other ones around. Anyway, I have just a few more minutes, so let's just do a little bit of filler inside before I have to go. But let's go ahead and I think once again on our intention, you know, maybe trace our shape again. Reinforce that connection. And in the end, it might be that you've, you know, completely filled in your shape, and that's okay. My spiral's getting pretty chunky. I actually like it like that, though. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna just put like a little detail in my outside, just because I like to do that. So I'm just gonna put some little, like kind of teardrop shapes going in between here. And just because I like to make the outside layer a little bit more like an actual border. And doing these kind of things helps that. Katie, hi, you're late. Yes, I'm just finishing up. But, you know, they're always saved, so you can do them after. I mean, I'll save this one immediately to my timeline, but I also, you know, save them all on my YouTube channel, which is Deb's Armenia Art. So you can always, there's a playlist on there that you can always go on. CJ, hi. I know, I know it's almost 6. I wonder sometimes, I know sometimes my husband will actually, after I've been live and I've gone off, he'll say like, oh, I just got the notice that you're live. I'm like, that like 10 minutes ago. So sometimes I think Facebook isn't very good about giving notifications. But again, it's saved. I always save it on my timeline, and then, you know, they're all on my YouTube channel. the playlist, called DAMM videos. And I'll try to remember, I almost never do, but I'll try to remember to drop the link in the description to my YouTube channel so you can go right in there. Anyway, okay, let's quickly, again, take a look at our intention, think about that, have, one good last thoughts about your intention and tracing the shape and having that, that reinforcement kind of centering on this mandala. And you can go ahead and finish out the filler. I am just about out of time. And then, it would be nice, actually, I'll just do a couple leaves here. It's one of my favorite things to do. It would be nice actually to, kind of cut this out and maybe just, put it on your fridge or tape it to your wall or your bathroom mirror or something. And that way you can just, have that intention reinforced every time you look at it and every time you see, that shape in the middle. Did you're going to do it tonight? Good. If you do and you remember, post yours in the comments here. I would love to see it. And yeah, so that's it. Let's put a couple little things here. I need to head out. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. Share this video. I would love to, reach as many people as possible and share these meditation mandalas, and especially, the intention ones, which are always really nice too. And yeah, that is it. Everybody have an amazing rest of your day. And I will really try to remember to pop the link to the YouTube channel in here. And for those of you who are watching it on YouTube, well, you're already here, so you know what it is. But anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I will, CJ, it would be really awesome to meet you. Where do you live? It would be really cool to have like a Facebook sort of central meetup, like everybody meets in like one, sort of central place at some point. The only problem is there's so many people around the world, and that would be a little bit more difficult and a lot more expensive to travel to do that. Anyway, okay, thanks guys. I will see you later. Bye-bye.